They are taking our kids every day. A child a minute, no one has a thing to say for those who have been isolated. Don't be worried, you have a voice today. So listen up everyone, here is the story. Child Protective Services is real. CPS is what they call it. They want our kids because it fills a lot of people's wallet. We all think it won't be us. We say when they come we will be so tough. It all sounds good when there's no one to take them. But when they come, your voice gets to breaking. Stay calm, step away. CPS ain't taking no one today. We are educated. Stay calm, step away. CPS, you need to leave. I know the tricks up your sleeve. You can't do what you're trying to do. We've done our homework. Don't do a damn thing without a warrant. You know the number. We'll steal our kids this way. Tiff and the Punisher have come for the calling. They are giving us the CPS warning. Their voice is loud and clear. We stop losing our kids this year. Tiff wants to fight the entire planet. She is tired of our kids being taken, god damn it. She's been fighting CPS for 30 years, bringing children home from this disgusting mess. The Punisher is screaming out loud, abolish CPS and tear it down. I want all our kids to come back. Look at all those kids' pictures held up like thin tags. Together we are stronger than we need. We will tear down CPS with high speed. We will do so much being together. Birds of a feather flock together. So watch out CPS, here we come. Picking you one by one. We promise to bring back the family and prosecute the caseworkers unhandily. So give us back the kids you have taken. Tiff and the Punisher sending you all on a vacation. The one with bars in the windows and the only games you play are old Nintendos. Corruption in courts, here we come. We won't stop until it's done. You judges need to learn what you stand for. This is Tiff and the Punisher warrior, and we cry out to all of you out there. We need support for a cause that many don't care. All children are being stolen way too often. So CPS, we plan on doing the stopping. Stopping.
Whew, that song gets me every time, no matter what.
I know. But it's so true.
It is. Every bit of it's true. Get all your waves out because we got another. We got a good one tonight, folks.
Dr. Death, I did not forget about you. I tried for 3 hours to send a PDF to Darren today, and it didn't work, so I gave up. I'm going to try again tomorrow.
Yeah, you got to believe in what she says. It's true. Every bit of it's true. I don't know. Well, so anyway, do you want to? This guy right here, he's a machine. I just met him a few minutes ago, so all I can say about is from the few minutes that I've heard from him is get ready for this because this is gonna blow your mind. But Tiff, why don't you go ahead and you can do the intro about him and so on, whatever you want to do.
Okay. So I saw a post come up on my feed one day And and I was like, damn, I wonder what's going on with this guy. So I sent him a friend's request, and then I just started following him. And then he posted that he won his case. So I'm like, okay, Tiffany, don't get excited. Give him a couple days, let him absorb everything. So I hit him up this morning and said, hey, you want to come on our show? He was like, yeah, what is it about? So I sent him a link and I said, we do CPS corruption and court corruption. And I sent him the link and I said, we'll be on about 7:15. So let's bring him on so he can introduce himself. And he is awesome.
Salutations.
Here we go. Now you in. Welcome, brother.
Salutations. Man. My name is Daniel Torres, aka Evil Onyx. I've been through a terrible situation, and I honestly don't wish it on my enemies. I mean, if I start from the beginning, paint an ugly picture. My child was born on July 27th of last year. Before we start, I have to say, so there's no discrepancy. I don't have any child endangerment charges, not a persistent offender, nothing like that. So here we go. I'm in Bacchus Hospital, Norwich, Connecticut, July 27th. And my child was born healthy. There was nothing wrong. The next day, I'm in the hospital and I have my child on my chest. I was singing to my baby. And I hear the boom, boom, boom on the door. And the nurses come in. They come in a pair. And I can see that there's something wrong in their face because one of the nurses, the older nurse, her eyes were watering. And she stopped. And the other nurse tapped her. I'm like, what's going on? Like, oh, can we see your son for a hearing and seeing test? They did a hearing and seeing test the day previous. So I got up, obviously, they have the baby. I look to the side and I see a whole bunch of police outside the door and they have their hands on their guns. And two guys, I didn't know that, I didn't recognize their credentials because they didn't show me, they say, oh, I'm DCF Department of Children and Families, Springfield, Massachusetts. Mind you, I'm in Connecticut. I've lived in Connecticut for years. So they bring me to another room and I'm like trying to refocus myself on what's happening. And I hear my kid's mom crying, she just had a C-section, it was horrible. To the point where they made sure they had a facility lockdown, and I'm getting texts from my family inside the elevator like, cuz we can't move, we're on a facility lockdown. I'm like, what? So they escorted us out again. Mind you, my kid's mom just had a cesarean section, who's still bleeding. And they escorted us out the building. And I'm going back and forth to court for months, trying to find out what's going on. They filed a 51A for potential danger. So I'm like, what potential danger is this? You know what I'm saying? I don't have any child endangerment, nothing like that, nor does my kid's mom. So for months, I'm being intimidated, the terrorists telling me a list of demands to comply, you know what I'm saying, bullying my baby mom, intimidating my baby mom, who doesn't know too much about the law, but I know a decent amount about criminal law. I've been studying the law for the last 8 years, criminal, but not family, but I had to dabble into it to find out. So for months, me, complying to their demands, I was literally going crazy, thinking, what did I do? What did I do to deserve this? Because at this point, I don't wish this on my enemies. So I started getting proactive after I got suicidal, because I started to lose my mind. I'm like, how can I put my family together? I lost everything, So I started looking up case laws that were similar to my situation. 3 o'clock in the morning, your eyes are burning, you barely see, but you're looking up situations, you're Googling information. I'm looking through the Georgetown Law Journal, prosecution misconduct. I'm trying to do every bit of my homework. I'm filing complaints. I hit up the Senator Chris Murphy. Chris Murphy introduced me to one of his friends who was a civil rights commissioner. And I had them tap into what was going on, and they didn't even believe it. I'm like, no, this actually happened, And I done did color of law forms, exposing the situation. But it took about maybe 6 months into the situation for me to realize I didn't do nothing wrong. Like, these guys are making up this as they went along. And then, Federal Rule 11, you submitting falsified documents. Now, every time I went to court, they had me on the stand. So I was able to speak freely, which no other court, they didn't let me do that, So I made sure I wrote up my own depositions and everything, and only facts, not emotions, because I'm telling you, they will intimidate you. They will intimidate you. I've seen people out there crying. Nope, I put my chin up, because that's what they wanted. It's like they build a whole community, and they build currency off of generating revenue off our children. And I used to say this before about inmates, monopoly. No, this is definitely not monopoly. This is monopoly. These kids are private properties with serial numbers getting checks. No difference in Department of Corrections, DCF. So I was going to court, and I knew for a fact, I was like, either this is going to make me or break me. Either I make noise like nobody's business, or I'm just going to have to take this one on the chin. And I refuse to take it on the chin. Like, I've never been one to back down. And, I have a soft spot for children. Like I told you before, I have 9 pedophiles under my belt. I've done security for years. You're not going to abuse a child in front of me. You're not going to joke. You're not going to jest and anything like that. And I don't play about my children, So, just like, even in my situation, after I've been through this, I don't wish this on my enemy. Like, this will have you questioning life. This will have you questioning God. You know what I'm saying? And it, it's detrimental to the child's health, because think about it. Those critical times and those couple months, those are the bonding periods. You know what I'm saying? So while in custody, in Department of Children and Families Custody, Springfield, my child, I have over 40 something pictures of bruises and scars, and not just regular bruises and scars. The size of my whole baby's foot, there was like a fish hook on this side and on this side, and then perfectly shaped T marks, like he was being punctured with a Phillips screwdriver. And I took pictures of everything, and I was losing my mind. I went to court, and I told the judge this, and the DCF attorney, Nicole Brooks, she said, the foster parent has 2 geckos and a bird. So I stopped. I was like, are you telling me that you have 2 lizards? I love reptiles, and I know about reptiles, that carry salmonella all over my child, and a bird who steps on its own shit all over my child? Does that seem ethical? Then they try to make another excuse, because once I started putting the color raw forms, once I started hitting up the ombudsman, once I started hitting up the state senator, it was getting back to everybody. When I was putting it on the news, when I was talking to people on the newspaper, on the radio and everything, it started getting back to people. Then I noticed that my child was getting abused more and neglected more. So I called one day and I said, I'm coming to see my son. And forgive me if I sound arrogant or cocky. I just feel like it's past the point of humility, because if you did something, be humble, take it on the chin. And like, if you did drugs, go to NA. You know what I'm saying? I've never done drugs before, but I called ahead of time, and they refused me. They were like, no. I'm like, okay, you're going to reschedule? And then another one, no. So finally I called the boss. Me and my kid's mom, we call the boss. We're trying to find out what's going on. By the time we come to see my son, he has a helmet on his head. And I think about it. You see your child hurt in somebody else's care, it's gonna infuriate you. I didn't go animalistic. I was very mad, because this is neglect on both parts. Because DCF, they're in these foster care situations, which all they're doing is like, think a mini jail with a whole bunch of kids. You're generating revenue, you're getting paychecks for these kids. You're not really taking care of them. Now here's the proof. Now I called my local doctor and I said, Brett, why would a baby need a helmet? And he spazzed on me. He got loud. He was like, oh, that's neglect. That's bad parenting. That's leaving your child in a periodic form for 3 months. It leaves a flat part of his head, and it gives cranial dysfunction. I'm like, whoa, hold on. My child is not in my custody. My child is in DCF custody in Springfield. So you're telling me? And he was like, I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, your child was neglected, you know, and there's been times where I've seen my son with lines from his eyes to his ears. You know what that means? You're leaving a child there crying for hours. You know what I'm saying? So there's been times I've checked my son's diaper and his area's all red. You know, so in supposedly a safe haven place, supposedly an organization that's protecting children, it seems that, you know, children who's getting placed in these foster systems is just more neglected than children that are running the streets.
Do you know the national statistics say that a child placed in foster care is 600 more times likely to be abused, neglected, murdered, and sexually abused?
I know this for a fact.
Statistic.
I know this for a fact. I have family has been in the system. My kid's mother's works with the Devils, Department of Children and Family.
She works with them?
Not the one I just had the baby with.
Oh.
I have other children. Yeah, I have other
but
children.
Let me ask you,
yeah,
was she this baby's mom? Was she ever in the system as a child or have any contact with CPS?
Yeah, as a child. Yeah, as a child.
They targeted her. She's in the system.
Yeah, exactly. She was telling me that too. She was like, she was in the system, and basically they try to use the past, but there was no past with her. You know what I mean? Like I said, I even try to, you know, find out through a FOI about toxicology reports to see if she was getting high. Nope. So yeah, she was definitely targeted, you know, being in the system young. I was in the system young too, but they didn't do that to me. You know, I mean, just going to, you know, just having the 7 federal judges look at the case. I mean, you could watch it. You could see the judge was like, "You're telling me Connecticut didn't know how to do their job? Are you telling me you gave yourself authority to do this?" The judge was like this. No, that's not happening. No. So you're telling me they couldn't do their job. So you took it upon yourself. Think about it. You take it upon yourself to abuse your authority. Michelle Cavallari of the Department of Children and Family, Springfield, nobody gave her this executive order. She made it herself to drive her little happy ass all the way to Bacchus Hospital, Norwich, where the casino is, and tell them personally when this child is born to call. But then I find out no authorization, no judge's signature. Oh, okay. Now this is my favorite part. Page 24, and I pass this to everybody, of the motion to dismiss, which I've never seen this before in my life, where it actually says kidnapping on it. I'm gonna quote it as I read it. The conclusion: the appellants assert the lower court lacked any basis whatsoever to exercise jurisdiction. Respectfully request that this case be dismissed. Additionally, this case highlights a critical policy: the unchecked ability of the state administrative agency to cross lines, remove a child from their home state, and invoke the jurisdiction of Massachusetts courts without obtaining any prior authorization from court jurisdiction. Not only are such actions criminal, akin to kidnapping, but undermine the statutory framework of the MCCJA. But in Connecticut, is the UCCJEA. So basically how that works, jurisdiction for anybody, every state has jurisdiction, and where your child was born is the home state. So no other state has probable cause to crumb over, even if somebody called a 51A and lied on you. You know, I find out these things afterwards, but you know, hey, we're here. I'm waiting for my baby June 5th.
So it's funny you say that, because I tell people, now I've been doing this a very long time. Okay. Like I said, had I known you when all this started, your baby would have never went to foster care. I'm telling you, would have had your child. Anyway, I tell people to use the UCCJEA and use the state one, because there's a federal one and there's a state one. And wherever the child lives is the mother state. I'm proud of you, though. I don't even know you, and I'm proud of you.
But you know what, though? It doesn't feel like a win yet. It doesn't feel like when, like, my kid's mom, she's happy, you know, it kind of made our bond a little bit closer. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate her more because, you know, I can tell a victim, I could tell a victim, and once I met her, I knew there was something wrong, and I couldn't put my finger on it. I've been a victim myself. I've been in the system. You know what I'm saying? I just beat 90 years for a shooting I didn't do. Imagine walking near a dog, and then somebody starts shooting at a lady and kids, and you intervene. Because I'm a father, I turned back. And because I didn't give the name of the shooter, which was none of my business, and I've never been a snitch, I sat in there a year and a half. You know what I'm saying? I protected these children like they were my own. And I can tell a victim. And my kid's mom has been victimized for years. You can tell when she gets on the phone and she talks to DCF, she's intimidated by him. You can tell when you go to the court, she's intimidated by him. And it infuriates me. It infuriates me because you know what? If you was a pedophile, you deserve everything coming towards you. If you hurt children, you deserve everything that's coming. If you're a fiend and you made mistakes and you got your children hurt, you did that upon yourself. God gave you these rights. Jehovah gave me these rights. And you're taking my paternal rights and telling me I'm an unfit father for what reason? Because I sell drugs? Because I'm out there shooting? Because I'm out there gangbanging? I'm robbing people? No. Do that to them. I don't play about mine. You know? So it's like, I see that they manipulated situations before with her kids, and I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't even make sense. Can we look this up? Sure enough, a lot of things they were doing. Brianna Haygood was abusing her authority. Michelle Cavallari was abusing their authority, you know, when it came to my child. And long story short, you know, my family got the shit under the stick out of it. Every day my mother cries. Every day my aunt cries because she hasn't met this child. They even denied her visits. You know what I'm saying? Even my kid's mom, you know, it's like, you want to abuse your authority and then you want to isolate the situation. You want to segregate the situation so nobody could find out. That's like in the criminal law, you could file a motion discovery and get all the intricate details and find out signatures, who called, you know what I'm saying? But see, they wouldn't give me any of this because they were like, oh no, this is a child. This is my child. Okay? I want to know. Like, don't try to play with me. Don't play about my children. You know what I'm saying? So when finally I started calling like the civil rights commissioner, they were like, this is not real. I'm like, listen, I'm not speaking imaginary vocabulary. I have documentation. I have paperwork. I have motions. I have timelines, call logs on everybody that I called. Like, you don't get it. This is my prize. This is my award. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be able to raise your children is a reward. I love my people, but there's nothing better than being with your children. You know what I'm saying? Like my kids used to laugh and joke around. You know, I have other boys, you know, and it's like, it used to get me high, that euphoria. Now you taking that from me. And it only hit me to like 2 months ago when I started, you know, really digging into these case laws and seeing situations closer to that. If you did this to me and I'm a gangster, if you did this to me, you've done this to thousands of fucking families. And it infuriates me because it's like, I've talked to people who's actually went to the Senate, who's actually tried to change the law, and they don't give them no play. No. You took it to the full out extent. So I'm looking at people like Cash. This guy, he you know, he was an Army vet. He went to Illinois and he was, you know, explaining the statistics of what happens to, you know, children in the foster system or you know, abuse in the foster system, or statistics of boys, fatherless boys, of how they get into the system. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, there's another guy that's on Facebook. He actually was fighting for parental alienation rights and getting time back. Those things inspired me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, wait a minute. I'm nobody. I'm nothing. I'm just a hood person. You know what I mean? Like, no. I can assert that. I can use my voice to assert my words, because my cubs are not going to speak for themselves. They're not going to bite for themselves. They need their main wolf. They need their alpha wolf to do this. You understand? And I was not going to let my pup to the system. There was times where I literally was contemplating suicide, and I had to remove certain things because I'm like, I'm done. I don't care anymore. I have no feeling. I have nothing to live for. You take my children. You took my son. You know what I'm saying? My other children, really can't see them. The DCF worker, my kid's mom, doesn't want me to see them, which sabotages too. So it's like, this is my last straw. I just turned 40. You know, this is my time where I'm calming down, and you know, I just want to live my life with my kids. You know, But, you know, for somebody to sabotage and take this away, you know, with no probable cause or no history, nothing like that, it's a monster. It's a demon. These people, I've literally sat in the court and I felt the vibe where I'm looking at the devil and his demons, because these people are malicious. I'm talking about, they'll smirk at you while you're on the stand, knowing there's tears in your eyes while you're fighting for your kids. Like, no, I'm not this person that you're depicting me to be. I'm not that person. I'm not a monster. You don't know me. You do not know me. You know what I'm saying? To sit there and not speak with emotion and try to really stand up for your rights and stand up for your family. It's literally feeling like you're getting jumped 360 degrees and you don't know where you're getting punched at, but you're blindly swinging. Because if you don't swing, you're going to get pummeled to the ground, because they make sure they pummel people to the ground. If you sit in those juvenile courtrooms and before the procession starts, families completely red in the face, grandmas crying, and that tears me apart. And I said this before. They have internal affair in certain situations with police. Why they don't have something like internal affair for CPS workers on both spectrums? So I could do a PRA on you, a Public Records Act, to see if you have misconduct, if you've been taking kids, if you've been abusing your authority. And then we can also rely on what we have as the parents' history to evaluate the situation, whether they get a potential 51A for any type of danger. No. Instead, hand over feet, they're making money, generating revenue off this modern day slavery. And I feel like if there was an officer, if there was a job for this certain thing, me and a handful of my guys would be there armed. Because who's going to fight for these kids? Who's going to fight for these kids? If I show you a screenshot of some of the families that's hit me up, begging me to help them, I'm like, there's only so much I could do. And it kills me. It kills me, because it'll be like 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm up and I'm going sick looking for information to try to help me and my family, and people hitting up my green box. But then it's like, I'm also getting death threats too. So I don't accept friends, because I don't know who's just fishing around. I hate to say it. Somebody took one of my kids' pictures and said some crazy things on it. And I know this, and you only had 4 friends. So a lot of people are infiltrating these fathers group, these families groups, you know, the Family Forward Project, CPS Investigation, CPS Warrior. Shout out to Dave Weigel. He's amazing person. It's just,
he's on our show.
Oh, he is. Yeah, I talked to him yesterday. I know he's busy, but I mean, it's hard to pull yourself from emotion and try to look and read paperwork, because it's like, no, because the street person in me wants to do street things to these people that are doing things totally unethical to these families. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I get it. This is just like DOC, Department of Correction. You're going to make your money. But at the same time, it's like, have real reason. I heard that these foster parents sometimes are getting $5,000 to $6,000 a month per child. And I heard if they were in the system, if they had any physical deformities or if they had mental health problems, they get more. Yeah, the Punisher. There you go. He knows. You know what I'm saying? This is common knowledge.
I will.
This is common knowledge.
When we get done, I'm going to send you in your messenger my email address. You send me your email address. I'm going to send you, it's 4 hours, but it's 4 different things. But the one I want you to watch is called Incentive to Separate, and you will see the spectrum. They broke it down on how much money they get, because there's categories for these children.
What?
And going back to I'm going to send it to you when we're done. So, and what you said, I just did a rally on May 18th. I'll send it to you too, because what you said is what I said. I said, you can slap your child in the face. CPS will tell them you beat this kid half to death and you look like a monster on the paper.
Of course. That's how they're going to get their money.
I said the same thing.
They got to depict some type of crazy picture. Oh, no. But think about it, right? You see a lot of people in these groups, there's up to thousands. So you're going to try to tell me that thousands and thousands and thousands of families are just making this up? They have the same exact story, the same organization, the same child trafficking organization. And for people who are listening now, the FBI told me, and who Who else told me? The Civil Rights Commissioner told me that there's a big investigation going on in human trafficking, but mostly children, because it's like you can say on paper, oh yeah, some probable cause, there was drugs in the system or something like that, and you can take them. But then, Federal Rule 11, you falsifying documents just so you could generate revenue. You understand how evil this is? Like, you making money off of lies just so you could steal these kids. Think about it. Let's go hundreds of years back. This is another form of slavery to the United States government. It ain't had nothing to do with race. They just got more craftier with it. We're not going to do black people. We're not going to do minorities. We're not going to do Chinese on the railroad. Oh, we get it. America loves their children. This is America, land of opportunity. Opportunity to take your children and make money off of them. Like I said, if you had probable cause, like, dirty urines or child abuse, neglect, boom, save those children. Please save those children. No, this is not that situation. And what a lot of parents that I've seen and I've talked to, it's not that situation. They're literally bullied and intimidated by these tyrants, these tyrannical tactics that they've been using for years. And think about it. If you got qualified immunity, you're going to be real hard and cocky because nothing could touch me. No, I know how to go around qualified immunity, just doing my homework. Just like I told the DA yesterday, I'm like, you lost. How does it feel? You bully, you patronize. How does it feel? No, if I send you the emails between me and the DA, I'm going to email you every day till my son is home. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to show up to your office because now that the case is closed and Connecticut doesn't want to pick up the case and Massachusetts had no jurisdiction, no authority, now you're a criminal. And now I just show up to your office. When am I going to pick up my son? Let me know every day. Even my attorney, he's like, please leave Nicole Brooks alone. No, you tortured me and my family. You tortured my children's mother. You to the point where you raised your voice, you smirked and you intimidated in a courtroom. And for being a black woman, you should be ashamed of yourself. A minority families literally trying to fight for their child. No dirty urines, no violence, nothing like that. No. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're working on the wrong side, like I told her this morning. You're working on the wrong side. And I found out a little information about this attorney. She used to be a good person. She used to fight for the right side. But think about it. If you're intimidated, if you're having lunch with the enemy every day, dictating other families' children's fate, you know what? You have no choice but to join us. Yo, you're negotiating deals with terrorists and the devil. You know what I'm saying? Well, what can we do together, and put our foot down? And I hate to say it. I hate to say this. I'm not on some, I'm going to respect my greats. I'm going to say Martin Luther King. I'm going to say Malcolm X. I'm also Native too. Our blood runs deep with warriors. Now, Malcolm X said one time that sometimes I had to take some type of form of violence to get the point across. Do you think the next revolution is going to start with us invading the Capitol? No, it's invading the Capitol because you're violating families, millions of families, and we had enough. And I feel like that's a probable cause enough to go to war and start this revolution because it's no different than these secret societies. You're a secret society pretending to be a safe haven for children while you're abducting and human trafficking. And then I started to find out more things about, the child sacrificing, the children being gutted and found down south. You know what I'm saying? Oh, the hundreds of kids that's been missing through CPS. How do you take kids and all of a sudden lose 300 of them?
Thousands.
Yeah. I was just talking about the Ohio one.
It doesn't just like, oh, there was 300. Look, there's a half a million of these kids every year are coming through the system. So it doesn't stop when there's just 300. There's 300 on top of 300 on top of another 300 on top of another. They're just stacking these kids up, and no one seems to understand this to the point now that it's, it's not going to be funny anymore because they got to start going to the middle class because they don't want the lowest of low class. They don't want those kids because they're damaged. Then they've gotten their, almost to middle class people. They've got these kids now. Now they got to work their way into the middle class. And now we're going to start hearing people talk about, whoa. We can't have this stuff, but they're running out of kids. They literally are running out of kids to take from these lower class families. This is where, and it's disgusting. It's despicable. That's what I wanted to bring up about the thing you talking about your son's foot. And I hated to say it, but you know what that is? That right there is a sign of adrenochrome. Like that's what they say is a sign.
That's exact. I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say that because I didn't know if you guys knew about that. But that's exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
You're using these children's blood, these pure blood, for your vitality. How sick is that? Now, I want to mention something else. If anybody's seen this recently, a lot of people, and this happened to me recently, where people are like, I can't swim, so I never would have took a job on the boats. But these shipping containers, have you seen these things? Have been on the news? People have been hearing screaming and crying, and people have been opening up children. What about the lady who's seen all the babies and children chopped up inside the truck, and she told they found her chopped up? What about the judge that just got shot in her driveway, abusing your authority? What about the judge in Pennsylvania who was arrested for selling inmates? What about the CPS workers that got shot dead recently, just within a week's time? People are sick and tired of the government abusing their authority and taking their children. This is the quality of life. You're taking people's quality of life. You're taking their children. The reason why they get up and work. The reason why they get up and smile.
These tent cities, these places like that, these are all of this stuff comes because of what they have done to these families. That's it. They've stripped these families of every bit of pride. That's what they do. Like you were just sitting there telling your story about being a man and all this stuff. They break you of being a man. They make you so that you run away. You don't have balls anymore, and that's how you feel. Like you don't have balls anymore. You're not worthy of having the wife that you have because you couldn't defend your family. You couldn't do it. But meanwhile, there was nothing you could have done. Not a damn thing short of breaking the law could you, and shooting a CPS worker or shooting the people that came and got them or killing them right there in front of you. There's nothing you could have done. When they were coming to take your kid, they were coming to take your kid. And that was it. There was nothing you could do about it. Not a damn thing, Unfortunately, that's the truth. I mean, you could be like Tiff and go out and scream the Constitution and do that stuff, but you got to have reciprocative people on the other side that are willing to listen and say, okay, this lady's right. Because you know what? There are people on the other side that are just so corrupt as they'd rather pull that pistol out and take your life and say, whatever, we got his kid now we don't have to deal with him. And that's
you think I haven't had people, even my own friends and family, that had sat on my shoulder and be like, let's do this. And for a second I've contemplated because in rage, infuriation, with high strung emotion. Yeah. I'm gonna contemplate it because I feel like I have nothing to lose, but I don't want nobody to go down that route. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to go down the John Q route because it's the truth. They make movies like this to, because people are actually living through situations like this and similar, but it's like a lot of prayer. I've been a gangster all my life, and this has forced me to put my head down and pray because, you gave me these children. Jehovah gave me these children. So I have no choice but to humble myself and be like, help me because I don't know what I'm doing. Please help me because I don't know my next step. Please direct me in the right direction so I can get my son, so I can help, I can represent my family, not the animalistic side that wants to come out. So I encourage a lot of people, please, Google everything, question everything, file affidavits with your own exculpatory evidence, submit it. Everything notarized, document everything. Do not let them play with you. Do not let them have you shrink down to fear because I was almost there. I've almost contemplated taking my life like so many times. I even wrote songs about it because it feels like somebody taking your air out of you. It's shorter breathing all the time. Heavy sweating. Every time I have to deal with DCF, even if it's a phone call or text, I'm sweating. And it's not because I feel guilty of something I did. No, it's because I have to negotiate with these terrorists in a hostage situation over my son for nothing I didn't do or nothing my kid's mother did neither. So think about it. You could have a crazy ex and you moved on. Somebody calls DCF or 51A and says, oh yeah, they're dealing drugs over there. They're beating their children. Oh, we see a soap diaper. They're going to come knock on your door like the SWAT, and they're going to take your kids regardless.
Right.
But from that point on, it's either make it or break it. You know what I'm saying? I've been to the point where it was critical times where I was going to break. No, even my kid's mom, they forced us against each other. And I even said this. I'm like, wait a minute. We don't have arguments. Like, what is this? This is over the baby. Don't you see what they're doing? The court, the state, they're manipulating us to turn against each other. Now, Brianna Haygood, the DCF worker, another black lady, literally said, fuck the white girl. I said, what? What? So this is what I did. I played good cop, bad cop. I said, okay, if we're gonna go that route, let's say we go your route. When am I gonna get my son? Listen, I told your kid's mom, if she was smart enough, she would have took the baby and fled to a non-extraditable state. Hello, she's from Florida. I was like, are you telling me that you told my kid's mother to kidnap my son? Now you just made yourself a co-defendant and led in the baiting for kidnapping. And I said that in court. And she even tried to lie in court. Beyond Hager was like, oh, I came to their house 8 times. Guess what? If you pin your GPS location, we would have found out you're a liar. Not only that, the Genie app rings every time somebody comes next to the door, and it tells you the time and location and everything. So you never came. You only came 3 times out of that 8 that you're talking. The next day we had a court procession. I just want to recant my statement. I came 4 times. Oh, because now we have evidential proof. Oh, now we're calling you on your bluff. Oh, you can't abuse your authority no more. Oh, you don't have no proof for that. I've literally directed myself and talked to the judge and be like, I can't talk to the state's attorney. I have to talk to you, the sound of reasoning. Because they try to intimidate you so much that even when you try to talk, they try to override your voice and everything. I'm like, no, hold on. You are not my mother. Don't override me. Don't overspeak me. This is my turn. I'm on the stand right now. You know? And then think about it. If you have your attorney and you try to cross-reference, who knows? I was in this situation, so I'm going to tell you afterwards. Who knows if your attorney has the best interest at heart? I see my attorney cross the street and go to the casino with my opposition, the state's attorney, Nicole Brooks, and have lunch. And I followed them the whole way. And as soon as they were done having their little meeting, my phone rang, and it was my attorney. He said, you are an animal. You are a beast. Nicole Brooks said, where did you find him at? The way he talks, the way he represents himself. Oh, so you couldn't break me. And you realized that you couldn't break me on stand. Over and over again. You try to intimidate my kid's mom. You don't have to coach my kid's mom back. Listen, let out your tears now. Shake it off. Poker face. We're going in there. We're going to war. Of course it's intimidating. Of course, as soon as you walk in there, you see, the energy of these courtrooms. People are holding their stomach. I hear people vomiting in the bathroom when I was taking a piss. Like they give anxiety and everything. And all this to paint a picture of what they're representing. A safe haven for children. No, this is the mafia and organized crime and human trafficking. That's what it is.
With an open checkbook.
Exactly.
So there's a couple things. I did, I'll send you the article too. And believe it or not, I told this reporter, because I work with the law school here in Virginia, we're about to take on CPS, and I'm going to send you the videos. I told those motherfuckers, I'm coming for you. You all picked the wrong bitch, the wrong advocate,
I say
the wrong
that.
grandmother.
I say that every time I leave DCF, I pick up this paper right here, and I show them, you guys are kidnapping, you're criminals. To the point where security went to rush up on me, and I showed him the paper. He was like, I've never seen that before. I've worked here for years. I've never seen that. Like, it says kidnapping right on it. And I tell my son, and I yell it from the door at DCF, Daddy's coming to get you. Daddy's coming back for his black fire. Daddy's coming to get you. Because believe me, I was not going to sit down. I don't care how it was going to end. I was not just going to sit down and let them abuse my child, take my rights. No, we're not doing this, because think about it. If you do it to me, you've done it to thousands of other families. And this is a recurring cycle. And no, it stops here. It stops here. Even if I have to die fighting, it stops here. So, everybody, look, I did this with no money. I went all the way to Supreme Court. You could do it too. Believe me. Do have faith. Pray. Look up information. Don't give up. Do not bow to these suckers. If you know you are 100% right, if you know you have nothing wrong, no dirty errands, you're following up on all your action plan, do not give up. Document everything. Affidavit, get it notarized. One for the clerk, one for the judge, one for the DA. I'm telling you, don't back down, because they've got used to people backing down, intimidating so much, and using police. Using police to aid them. So I called the police the other day, and I asked them, on July 28th, y'all came to Bacchus Hospital, and at gunpoint, you took my son. What was the reason? I want a copy of that incident report. You know what they said? There's no incident report, but we'll give you the officer's name. The same officers that tried to frame me for the 90 years that I just beat.
Did you pull their body cam footage? Because they were supposed to have their body cam footage on.
Nope. They said there's nothing in the incident report, only the officers' names. Oh, is that due process failure? I don't know. Oh, you violated my rights too?
So, first of all, again, I am proud of you and I don't even know you. Okay? I wish everybody had your backbone because, like you, I don't play that shit either. I do not back down there. No, I told them I'm not bending over. I'm not backing down. I'm not breaking, and I'm not consenting, and I don't concede. So y'all got some shit when you come to me. Bring that shit to my house, and you're gonna find out. Anyway, you're right. Every story from the top of the United States to the bottom of the United States to Alaska and Hawaii, all the stories are all the same, different names, different dates, different people. That's it. That's all.
So I talked to the ombudsman today, who was conversating with the civil rights commissioner, and he told me something. I put it on my status because I didn't fathom the concept of what's really happening. He said, "Do you know what you did? Do you understand what you just did? This is going to change course in history of law." You know, I hear Blackfire's name all the time. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, everyone's been talking about Blackfire here, the commission and the governor. I'm like, wait, what? This, because you won, is going to change it. They have people in New Hampshire and Maine and Connecticut and Rhode Island. I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, yes, I fought for my child, but I feel like if this is the case, I fought for all of y'all. My son Blackfire, my son Blackfire had to pay the price. And you know what? It has to be God, because think about it. We got wars going on, you know, famine. No, this is domestic terrorism. This is domestic terrorism in United States soil. This is human trafficking. No, they have government agencies that are using a shield and a badge to use their tyrannical tactics to abuse their authority and take our children. No, it's going to be like our right to bear arms. You're going to have to take my child off your bloody cold hands, if you know what I mean.
So are you going to sue everybody now?
I've been talking to 3 attorneys. One was like real elated. He's like, you don't understand. This is big. I'm like, okay, that's big, but I'll celebrate when I have my son actually here with me. You know what I'm saying? But I've talked to a couple attorneys. A lot of them, they've told me they can't practice in Massachusetts because I'm in Connecticut. There's one that sued Massachusetts about 4 times, and they don't like him, an attorney. He's actually in our group. No, he's won 4 times already.
Well, that's
he's won
the one
4 times.
That's the one.
Yeah, I'm talking. Yeah, but this is what he says. This is what he says. He says that his license might run out soon in that state. He has a lot of friends. They don't like him at all. It could be a health hazard for him, basically. You know, and I've talked to attorneys that as soon as I mention certain names, they were like, no, I don't want to jeopardize my life. I'm like, what? I've talked to news people who are like, what? No, I can't jeopardize my life. I'm like, wait. You're telling me that you've had previous involvement and you've been threatened?
Yeah.
Two news anchors that my lawyer's talking to, I had talked to them previous, and one was, really rude with me. Like, this is not happening in our state of Massachusetts. I'm like, yes, it is, and here's the paperwork. You know what I'm saying? You contact me when you want. I will, and I won.
Have you tried Kevin Seaver?
No.
He's a buddy of mine. He's one of the top CPS lawyers. He's right there in downtown Boston.
Yeah, guess what? So people don't go that route. I guess the Commonwealth state has certain qualified immunities where you can't sue the state of Massachusetts when it comes to certain government shit. So it's called the Massachusetts Tort Reform Act. So what you do is you hire an attorney from a different state to go after Massachusetts. Yeah, I've been doing my homework, man. I'm like, oh, you're gonna violate me? I'm gonna violate you too.
Yeah, well, all you gotta do is listen to Dropkick Murphy's song "State of Massachusetts," and that's what it's all about. You know that?
Who was it?
Dropkick Murphys. Come on, man. You're right next
The
to
song on
Boston.
the song on your intro messed me up.
I'm sorry.
That's horrible.
That's our
That's
theme
horrible. Like
song.
I walked in there blindly, like, what? This is my life. This is what I'm going through. This is what everybody's going through.
Mm-hmm. We write all of our own music, all this stuff. I mean, granted, you know, I get AI stuff to help me out with all that, but all the lyrics and shit, we write all that.
I'm in my studio right now.
His name is Pat McGraw. Look him up in Roanoke, Virginia. He does practice in Iowa. Patrick McGraw, Dr. Death.
I'm in Connecticut.
So sorry. No. Somebody was asking me a question.
Okay. Oh, I just noticed there's comments on the side over there.
And they've been asking why, the same thing I did. Why do you have to wait till June 5th? Can you please explain to everybody why?
Okay. Let me get this paperwork, because this is what I read in the ruling.
Oh, FYI, guys, there is no timeline. So
basically what I'm told here is it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me at all, because they're saying that I have to wait 28 days for the proceeding, the paperwork. But what happens after the 28 days? So I talked to two attorneys today, my attorneys, and they talked to DCF, and they actually told me to get a protective order. To get a protective order on them, because they're harassing. And what I like, my attorney, Melissa Long, gangster, love her to death, because there's been 4 attorneys previous that I've said, you don't see what they're doing wrong? And my attorney at the time, Kimball, was like, no, I don't see anything wrong. Well, guess what? You're not the right representation for me and my family. Kick rocks. But Melissa Long and I don't want to pronounce the name wrong. I think Dana Chevrolet, she's the federal attorney, a young chick. No, they fought. And a lot of these things I did myself, and I looked up information and I passed it along to them, and they're willing to accept it, because think about it. It takes a community to raise a child, but it also takes a community together to tear apart CPS and the government. Didn't it say we can overthrow our government? Didn't it say we could overthrow our government if they're unruly? This is probably the time. This is probably the time. This will be the new revolution. It's not going to be a civil over race. It's going to be because our children, save our children, and free Black Fire.
In fact, it doesn't say that we can. It says that it is our duty.
Right.
We are obligated to do that, because it's we, the people, that are the government, not the government.
Yeah.
And this is what I tell parents, right? Because I'm just a different breed. You're a different breed, because you got the backbone. I tell people, do not be intimidated by those motherfuckers in that courtroom. Bitch, you pay for that courthouse. Bitch, you're paying that judge. Bitch, that woman is no different, or man is no different from you. Just get this through your head. All men are created equal, and women. We're all created equal.
Just like me.
Thank you. Don't be intimidated by them. You speak your mind.
I'm telling you, I don't know exactly what it is. I know you got to go to the Senate and the state capitol to, have them enforce different laws. But I really feel like we need something like internal affairs just for DCF. And I would volunteer myself, gun and badge.
Oh, they don't want you.
To my eyes bleed, find out information. Even if I have to talk to the children myself, because you can tell when somebody's been coerced. You can definitely tell when somebody's been told to say something. No, save our children.
They don't want people like us, because they think we're crazy. That we don't know what we're talking about. We don't know what we're doing. We don't have the degrees. Well, I got news for all of them. I have certificates. I'm certified to teach the Constitution, dumbass. I know the government and my rights better than you. Not you, but them. Get the fuck out of my face. I'm telling you, 12 police officers and a CPS worker marched off my property by me. Absolutely fucking not.
I wanted to do that. Yeah, I wanted to do that. I don't know if you guys seen that video that was similar to mine, where CPS came to the hospital and they were trying to rip the baby out the father's arm, and the CPS actually tried to grab him, and he told them, you need to leave, and they left. I'm not gonna lie, I cried like a bitch. I'm like, did I do enough for Black Fire? Did I really fight? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that bothered me because it's like a man is supposed to be the head of the household. Now you demasculated me and you try to take my son. You understand? Like you're making me look soft in front of my family who's there at the hospital. You're embarrassing me, public ostracizing me in front of my kid's mom, who are both innocent parties. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna lie. For months, I held some type of aggression against my kid's mom because I thought she had something to do with this. Kind of find out she really didn't. She was a victim, and there's a lot of victims. And I encourage people. This doesn't take money. This doesn't take money. This takes the manpower, research, and the willpower to be like, no, I'm fighting. And if you got to lock arms together, I notice people protesting. We need a lot of people. We need strength in numbers because in order to fight a gang, we have to be a gang ourselves.
That's it, man. Pack it up.
Yup.
That's what you say. Because you know what? There's we need to be a number of people that make a difference. That they know that when we come together, we could sway elections. We could sway whatever these votes are. We can. There's millions of us. There's millions of us that have been affected by CPS. But everybody in this damn thing is so hell-bent on having their own name on something. I don't care if they want to call this the Cheyenne Saloon Channel. And as long as whatever they're doing is better than what we're doing, then come along, do it. If it's working better and it's getting kids home, then come along, do it. There ain't no pride in this. Pride's for the devil, man. You know what I mean? This is all about getting the goddamn kids home. And whoever has the better to get the kids home, come in here, join us. You know what? But all of us need to be together. Stop fighting for all these people fighting over scraps. They're like, well, I'm going to call it this. Who gives a fuck what they call it? I don't give a shit what they call it. Call it whatever. But just get the kids home. That's what it's all about, period. And once people get that through their heads, then we'll be able to. But it's like high school in here, man. These people just squabbling over this was my idea and I wanted this and this person knew me. Who gives a shit? You know who's doing shit? We are. We're doing shit. We're making changes. We're doing things. So guess what? Right now, we're the captains of the boat, I guess. So come on, get in. Let's go. Like where this ride goes, we don't know, but we're going for it.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
So I see that dude. I think it's how is it that you can make a rule go viral? You know what I'm saying? You had to go to the state capitol, the Senate. You know what I'm saying? And everybody petitioned for this one rule because I really feel they need to make a two-way investigation, some type of internal affair against CPS, and it has to be there for every case. Every case. Because think about it. If you're abusing the funds federally, and getting it off these kids, you could use a little bit of that to investigate.
Call the IRS.
Well, this is what's going on right now. What?
Yeah, let them know the IRS. They're abusing funds. They should be. Where is this money going? They need to answer for this money. So where is this money going? Like who knows? So like the state of Maine, they're giving a $3 million blank check to give to any doctor's office that they want, or any sort of physician or anybody that helps them out. They can donate $3 million. They have a blank check that they can donate to all these. Call them out on it. Call the IRS. Be like, hey, I want you to do a report on the state of Maine or this
audit.
I'm in Maine.
Do an audit.
Yeah, an audit. Yep. Audit them. Yep.
Audit them on where this money is. Because that's the only way you're going to be able to prove that they're not going in the right places. Do it. Because they're either not paying taxes like they're supposed to be, or they're not doing something with this money right. I mean, come on. They're doing something wrong with it, hokey with it. So call the IRS, man. Tell them to do an investigation. Tell them to do it on the caseworkers.
Darren, how far are you from Connecticut?
Depends on what part of Connecticut. I can either be
what part of Connecticut are you in?
I'm the eastern part. I'm almost on the borderline of Rhode Island.
The borderline of what?
Rhode Island.
Oh, so you're close to me then.
So
Darren, like an hour and a half.
So Darren, why don't you go there and do a rally with me?
No, I don't want to get you hurt. I don't want to get nobody hurt because believe me, it's gonna get real violent. There's some civil rights commissioners. They got the NAACP associates who've actually, I was out there protesting with them, and they rammed a truck so hard to kill this elderly man who was, I think, the president at the time at NAACP, and the pole cut in half. Meaning, if we're right where we're standing at, they would have killed us all, mauled us. Like, I don't want to get nobody I don't want to get anybody hurt. And that will happen in Willamette. So you can look it
Look
up
here, man.
and everything.
2 things.
You know.
I'm not scared. And 2, I'm the legal redress for my local NAACP here. I'm the local redress chair here. So
Okay.
maybe you need to get, or maybe I can contact your local redress chair, and maybe we can do a NAACP.
Let me tell you something about this individual. James Flores is an elderly man who served our country, a decorative person, and they treat him with so much disrespect. He's proven in the rain and in the snow that he'll protest, and people hate him for it because he's standing up for our rights. Police have literally turned their face, like when they try to kill us for protesting. They literally said we didn't see it happen. We're standing in front of a bank. Everything's recorded. You're going to tell me you don't got it recorded? You're saying that's how you know that the police is with this. Yeah, you had to. It was everywhere.
National news.
No, I just, there's a lot of people that, that are abusing their authority and they work together. They have relationships. They had me sign a piece of paper with the court saying that Danielson Court, Windham County Court, New London Court, Norwich Court, all are associated together because they have played volleyball for 30 years. I was like, motion to change venue. You're not going to tell me you have your buddies up here from a different court coercing this. No, we're not doing that. Yeah.
Well, I would love to come and do a rally, but I don't travel because I got 2 little ones, and riding in a car for long periods of time is just not my forte.
Yeah, I would love to protest too. My car just acts up.
Oh no, we're not going to protest. No, we're not going to protest. We're going to teach people how to whoop that CPS ass. That's what we're going to do. That's what I'm doing here.
You know what I was doing before too? When I first started engaging in the criminal law, I started making my own pamphlets, you know what I'm saying, explaining different motions and in dummy terms so everybody can understand it. And I was going to the court and I was passing them out. I feel like they need to do the same thing else, a CPS warrior, like fight against them. Here, did you do these steps? Because like I said, if I screenshot some of these things that be in my inbox, it's horrible. It's horrible. People are desperately, reaching out to me for help. I'm not Jesus. There's only so much I could do. And because my situation was so black and white jurisdiction, I've heard different situations where children were abused. They got caught with drugs in their system. You know what I'm saying? Every situation is different. But for those that are 100% innocent, please don't stop fighting. Remember Blackfire, because this right here is something critical to everybody's life, because whether it didn't happen to you, it happened to your cousin, it happened to your neighbor across the street. Everybody knows somebody who has some type of CPS involvement, whether it's true or not.
So your case went to Massachusetts Supreme Court?
Yeah, Boston.
Okay, so tell me your case number. Tell me what your case was.
My case number.
No, I don't want the case number. I want the case.
The docket number?
No. What's the case? What's your last name versus whatever?
Oh no, it does. No, I have the YouTube link. It's live. Because it's a child. It says what is the word they use? Impounded. That says impounded. They don't say Blackfire's name on there. They keep on saying the child. But I have the case on my wall too. I took it off. I ripped it off of YouTube.
Oh well, you'll
anybody want to look it up? Well, the docket number 24 CP 0142 SP.
Because it will be in Justa in a year. It will be on Justa, and that's just another case that we can use. We already have 155 cases that we can use. We got a lot of information. So just tell your buddies or whoever's setting you up to come to Tiff and the Punisher show, because we teach people all the time how to whoop that ass. You can come back on too.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we'll talk after the show. But I hope
Yes, Deidre.
I want to do a follow-up with you, like June 10th, so you got time to hold your baby and kiss all over him and take daddy and mommy pictures, and it's gonna be all right. I'm just so proud of you.
Oh yeah.
It's
No,
gonna be all right. You
I
did
appreciate
good,
y'all.
man.
I appreciate y'all. I really do.
All right.
And we're friends on Facebook, so you can always hit me up too.
Nah, no. Now that
I'll
I know,
help keep you
now that I
strong.
know that it's really somebody, not somebody trolling. Yeah.
Oh no, I don't troll.
Okay.
Unless you're a CPS worker.
Yeah.
Right on.
We're gonna start making house visits like Jehovah's Witnesses for CPS.
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
It's not gonna be funny when you got 100 people out there saying the same exact thing against the same department.
I will, Deidre. I will. I see your comment. All right, everybody.
It's more than that.
We got to get out of here so Brenda doesn't freak out.
He'll be back on. We'll do a follow-up with him after, let's give him a week to get bonded back with his baby.
All right, everybody.
But I am going to send you my email, and I'm going to send you some stuff.
Same place, same time.
Oh, if anybody just inbox me, it's Red Halo.
Red Halo it is. All right, everybody. Same time, same place tomorrow. We'll catch you then.
Man, love.
Thank you, Red Halo.
We stand our ground in the chaos tonight. Voices roaring, we won't go down without a fight. Broken laws and shattered dreams we see. CPS no longer will decide what's meant to be. Don't tread on us, we scream into the void. Parents torn apart, families destroyed. We march forward, hearts ablaze with pride. Injustice crushed as we gather side by side. Abolish the chains and break the system down. No more kids for cash in this twisted town. Make parenting great with freedom as our goal. Here Tiff and the Punisher, we're reclaiming control. Constitution rules, we hold it tight. No more tears or endless nights. Stealing kids is not their right. We won't back down, we stand and fight. Battle scars from a war we never chose. Families torn, but our numbers grow. CPS must go, the world will know. Our power surges, watch the rebels show. Abolish the chains and break the system down. No more kids for cash in this twisted town. Make parenting great with freedom as our goal. Here Tiff and the Punisher, we're reclaiming control. We're in control. Battle scars from a war we never chose. Families torn, but our numbers grow. CPS must go, the world will know. Our power surges, watch the rebels show. Abolish the chains and break the system down. No more kids for cash in this twisted town. Make parenting great with freedom as our goal. Here Tiff and the Punisher, we're reclaiming control.
I'm just your average parent trying to do right by my kids. Never thought I'd have to, deal with something like this. It was a regular Tuesday afternoon. The kids' toys were scattered everywhere. Then there was a knock at the door. My heart sank when I saw who it was.
Hello, I'm from Child Protective Services. We've received a report and need to inspect your home.
I didn't know what to do. They wanted to come in, look around, talk to my kids. My hands were shaking. I felt like I was doing something wrong even though I knew I wasn't. But then, I remembered something I'd read online about knowing your rights. I took a deep breath and said, "I'm sorry, but unless you have a warrant, I can't let you in." The CPS worker looked surprised. They weren't used to parents knowing their rights. It wasn't easy, but I stood my ground. I protected my family's privacy that day. Remember, when CPS knocks, know your rights. It can make all the difference.
Imagine being a child who has been torn away from their security blanket, their parents, the ones who stopped the boogeyman from terrorizing the nights and curing their boo-boos when they scrape their knees. Now just imagine how they mightest feel when the CPS meant to protect them tears them away from their supposed abusers and places them with strangers who have zero comforting skills. They need to be calmed. They are confused, lost, panicked, and needing their parents, but CPS took them away for the purpose of saving them. The kids don't even know why, and they are told that the parents they attach to no longer want them. What do you think that does? Do you think that this is how protecting children is supposed to look? Abolish CPS.